Hey there, and welcome to Teaching Mastery Academy. I'm your host, Francesca Hudson, and if you're ready to create premium courses that don't just sell, but transform lives, you're in the right place, my friend. Here's the thing, your audience doesn't want another cookie-cutter course. They're looking for something truly impactful, and you want to deliver a course that not only gets results, but feels worth every dollar your students invest. But maybe you've been feeling stuck, wondering how to position your course as premium, or unsure how to elevate your content to the next level. Well, that's where I come in. Each week, I'll be sharing actionable strategies, proven teaching techniques, and insider secrets to help you design a course that stands out, delivers a wow-worthy experience, and commands the premium price tag it deserves. Together, we'll tackle everything from crafting a powerful transformation promise to creating a standout learning experience your students won't stop raving about. Oh, and before we get started, if you're ready to fast-track your success, don't forget to join my waitlist for my signature program, Teaching Mastery Academy. It's where I show you step by step how to create, position, and sell premium courses that set you apart. Head to theclassichighschoolteacher.com/TMA to snag your spot today. Alright, let's get to it, because today's episode will get you one step closer to building a course your audience can't wait to invest in. Let's make it happen. Hello, welcome back to Teaching Mastery Academy. I'm Francesca Hudson, and today we're tackling a topic that will completely change the way that you think about course design. Now, I have been putting the final bells and whistles on a brand new masterclass, and I'll be charging for this masterclass in the future. But because it is brand new, and I am so excited to share it with as many of my amazing podcast audience as possible for a very limited time, I am running this masterclass free. It's a brand new free masterclass all about creating and selling premium courses that scale to 6 figures and beyond. Now, the reason why I have put this masterclass together is because so many of you out there are really sick and tired of the crowded market space and the huge volume of noise that is existing in the digital course environment at the moment. There are so many different types of courses, and the quality of courses can vary hugely. And you just don't know what you're getting from one course to the next. And that kind of makes it frustrating for those of you out there who have got a really good offer and you have got a really good product, and you know that it can change the lives for so many other people out there if they have the chance to be able to complete your course. But you might be feeling a little bit on the fence about it, because you might feel like your teaching abilities are limited, or your experience in delivering your course is limited, or you're just not quite sure how to put together all the technology involved in putting together the lessons and the modules and the marketing that comes with a premium offer. And when I say premium offer, I mean we're looking at above $500 or more, normally around about $1,400, $1,500 to $2,000 or upwards. Now, I know that if you follow this podcast, then you are in the right place for putting together a premium offer, because you have the expertise, you have the passion, you have the experience, you have the dedication to be able to put in the hard work, to be able to create a beautiful premium course offering that your audience is really going to love. And you just need to have those tools and that know-how and that roadmap to be able to connect all the dots, put it in place, and get going with it. Because premium courses is the way that you are going to rise to the top of your niche. It's the way that you're going to be able to rise up from a very crowded marketplace, cut through all the AI algorithms and the generic information that's sitting on the internet, and really put your personal stamp on what you're offering. So I will link this free masterclass in the show notes today. As I say, I'm really excited about it. It's an hour-long masterclass. It's got huge value. I'm going to teach you a very unique framework of mine that I normally reserve for Teaching Mastery Academy students, but I am giving it to you for free. So if you are serious about your premium course offers, then this is a masterclass that you do not want to miss out on. So I will put that in the show notes, and let's carry on with the podcast today. So I have a question for you to kick things off. Have you ever created a course, or maybe you're in the process of creating one, and wondered, how do I make sure this connects with everyone who takes it? If you've ever felt stuck trying to cater to a diverse audience, then you're not alone, my friend. I have been in this boat too. And one of the most common challenges that we as entrepreneurs face is figuring out how to design courses that resonate with different types of learners. Now, I am pulling this podcast episode straight from Teaching Mastery Academy here. You're getting a little insider look because here's the thing, not everyone learns the same way. Some people thrive on visuals. Others need to hear ideas to process them, and some want hands-on activities to fully understand a concept. And if your course is only catering to one learning style, you're leaving a big chunk of your audience behind and potentially limiting their transformation. But do not worry, my friend, because by the end of this episode, you will know exactly how to design a course that matches your audience's learning styles, engages everyone, and delivers maximum impact. So grab a notebook because we're about to unlock the secrets of creating a truly inclusive, engaging, and results-driven course. Let's get started. Let's start by exploring the foundation of learning styles and why they matter in course creation. Now, the concept of learning preferences isn't new. In fact, it dates back to ancient times. Philosophers like Aristotle and Socrates recognized that people learn in different ways. And then over the centuries, educators have refined these ideas and developed their own frameworks that help us understand how learners process information. Now, today, the most widely recognized categories of learning preferences include 4 categories. We've got visual, auditory, reading and writing, and kinesthetic styles. Now, these categories highlight that people absorb and retain information differently based on their unique strengths. Now, the problem with a one-size-fits-all approach is that if your course only caters to one learning style, you may unintentionally leave large portions of your audience behind. For example, a text-heavy course might frustrate kinesthetic learners. They're the learners that learn best through movement, who need hands-on practice. Or a visually focused course might overwhelm auditory learners. That's people that learn through hearing, through listening, who process better by being able to hear what they're being taught. They might learn best by listening to a podcast, for example, like this one. So your job as a course creator isn't to tailor every single element to every single person. No, that would totally burn you out. You would be spending years on your course. But it is to integrate a balance of styles so your course feels inclusive and impactful. Now, why does this matter for transformation? And remember, we talk about that word transformation a lot at Teaching Mastery Academy, because if we don't get transformation for our students, then our course is going nowhere. So we really need to be focusing with transformation at all times. It is the very heart of what we do. It's our why. So when students engage with content that matches their preferred learning style, they're so much more likely to retain information, to stay motivated, and to see results. And when your students succeed, your course builds a much stronger reputation for delivering that all-important, I'm going to put it in gold, transformation. So important. Now, while modern frameworks like VARK, that's V-A-R-K, if you want to look them up, formalize learning styles, the idea has roots in very early educational practices. So, for example, apprenticeship models used hands-on kinesthetic learning, while religious teachings often relied on oral traditions, auditory. I find it so interesting, so fascinating. And this shows that understanding and leveraging learning preferences has always been key to effective education. Read the room, know your audience, in other words. Now, you're probably going to be thinking, well, how do I know what type of learners my audience are? Well, I'll give you a rundown on each group, and then we'll look at how we can integrate that into our course practice. So let's talk about visual learners to start with. So these students process information best when it's presented visually. And research suggests that up to 65% of our society are visual learners. So this is one of the largest groups in most audiences, in most niches. Visual learners need a few things. They need clear, organized visuals that illustrate concepts. They need opportunities to see the big picture through charts or graphs or diagrams, anything with pictures in, really. And they need minimal reliance on dense text or auditory only content. So if you're doing a presentation and you've got a whole lot of text on your slides, you are going to switch these guys off straight away. So instead, what you want to be thinking about is maybe adding slides with high quality images or icons or infographics, or maybe incorporate videos that demonstrate processes or showcase real world examples. So for example, if your course is about gardening, you could show time-lapse videos of plants growing or visual guides for pruning techniques. And Instagram is full of these types of things. They're really good at distracting all of us. But visual learners in particular will really respond to that visual stimulation. And also think about highlighting your key points visually. So use bold fonts or color coding or animations to emphasize important concepts. And think about summarizing complex ideas with flowcharts or concept maps, pictures. Emojis are great. So you can leverage design tools like Canva or Adobe Express to make it easy to create professional looking visuals for your course. And did you know that visual aids increase learning retention for visual learners by, do you know what it is? It's going to shock you, this number, by up to 400%. How amazing is that? So by incorporating visuals, you're not just making your course more engaging, you're helping your students achieve better results. All right, let's move on to auditory learners. So, and these guys thrive on sound-based content. These learners benefit most from explanations or storytelling and opportunities to discuss ideas. As I said before, podcasts are their go-to. So what they really need, and what you need to ensure you're doing with your course, is they need opportunities to hear key concepts explained in detail. They need to have audio options for learning on the go, like podcasts or narrated lessons they can pop on while they're driving or while they're cooking dinner, and discussions or verbal feedback to reinforce their understanding. So live Q&As for this particular group of learners, they work an absolute charm. So thinking about your course, you could narrate everything. Don't assume that your students will read every slide. They won't. Record your voice, walking them through each concept, which you probably will be doing anyway. But for those of us who are presenting things live in a live classroom situation, you want to ensure that you've got it narrated, you've got it recorded as well. And also think about offer audio-only versions of the lessons so students can listen while commuting or working out. And there's a great website that I use called Hello Audio that do really good podcasts that you can have privately. So you can have it specifically for your course. And I'll link that in the show notes. You also want to encourage active listening. So think about asking questions throughout your lessons to keep your auditory students engaged, even if it's an evergreen course. Just have those questions there and get them thinking about what you're talking about. And also use storytelling to illustrate points. So auditory learners remember examples better than dry facts. So really think about how you can bring storytelling, some of your own stories from your own experience, for example, into your lessons. For example, in a business course, you could share a personal story about a client who used your strategy and saw measurable success. And think about incorporating group discussions as well. We talked about this just before, but think about using live Q&A sessions or discussion boards. If you're not going to be there in person live, you can still have your group community. You can still have all of your students on there and they can be helping and talking to each other, because this is where students can ask questions and they can share insights with each other. So it's a perfect opportunity for auditory learners as well. Now, did you know that auditory learners often retain up to 75% of information when it's delivered verbally? Once again, a staggeringly high statistic. Imagine the impact that this would have on your course if you've got a 400% increase in your visual learners, a 75% increase of information retained by your oral learners. This is amazing for your course. So by offering strong audio components in your digital course, you're helping these learners connect with the material on a much deeper level. Okay, let's move on to the read-write learners, because these guys absorb information best through text, obviously. And These students love detail, they love structure, they love the opportunity to process ideas through reading and writing. Bookworms, everyone you know that loves reading a book, might be a written learner. And what these learners need when it comes to preparing your course is they need text-based explanations with lots of detail. So these are the students that will really pour over your landing pages on your website and on your course. So when you're uploading your videos and your lessons, make sure that you've got a good summary written down underneath them as well. They love resources like worksheets or guides or transcripts to review. So that's a really good idea to include a transcript for each lesson that you've got for your online course. And they love any opportunities to write and reflect on what they've learned. So journal keeping or a quiz that you could put in at the end of each module. These students will love that type of thing, that kind of stimulation. So what you could do with your own course is you could provide some really comprehensive text resources. You could include lesson summaries in PDF form so your students can review the concepts offline. They can download them and read them offline. You could offer detailed guides or ebooks that dive even deeper into key topics, or you could offer that as an additional upsell. I would definitely look at using structured layouts. So you want to break your ideas down into lists, into bullet points or numbered steps, because remember, these students will be reading everything. And you want to avoid dense paragraphs. So don't confuse the fact that reader-writer learners love lots of text. So you can put as many words as you can fit into a slide. You don't want to have a really dense paragraph. You want white spaces between each little key idea to make the text easy to scan, because these guys will be scanning through everything. So if your course is about productivity, for example, let's choose that as a niche. You could include a step-by-step checklist for setting weekly goals. Perfect. And finally, think about encouraging reflection. So add journaling prompts or written assignments that can really help your reader-writer students process the material. Now, including text-based content doesn't just benefit reader-writer learners, it also helps everyone by reinforcing the key concepts and creating valuable reference materials. So this is a really good way to add value to everybody who's taking your course. Everybody will benefit from these implementation strategies. And then finally, let's talk about the kinesthetic learners, because these guys really thrive on hands-on experiences and real-world application. These learners make up about 15% of most audiences, so they're the minority, but they often struggle the most with traditional course formats. Regularly, they get bored easily. They want to get up and start moving around. So what kinesthetic learners need are opportunities to practice what they're learning. They want to see how it's applied in real life. So real-world examples and scenarios that feel tangible. And they want to have activities that involve movement or physical engagement. How do we do this in most niches? Well, think about adding some practical exercises. So include assignments where students can apply concepts in real life, or you could create challenges or projects that mimic real-world scenarios. So for example, in a public speaking course, ask your students to record themselves delivering a speech and then submit it for feedback, for example. Or you could look at using interactive tools. So you could incorporate something like a drag and drop quizzes or polls or simulations so that your kinesthetic learners are being able to move and actually apply some of their knowledge in the course as they go through it. Or you can look at using things like gamification elements like progress badges or rewards to keep kinesthetic learners engaged. If you know there's a part of your course that's going to be quite heavy and there's not going to be a lot of ability for your kinesthetic learners to move around, then try and have that reward system to keep them entertained and keep them engaged. Now, we also want to encourage movement where possible. So if your course includes live workshops, you could build in breaks, for example, for stretching or brainstorming on sticky notes. Now, here's a fun fact for kinesthetic learners. And studies show that hands-on learning improves retention by, drum roll, up to 75%. So by including interactive elements, you're helping these students retain information and apply it effectively. 75% people. Can you imagine the increase, the uptake in your courses if you saw these statistics? How amazing is that? Now, while it is important to include these diverse learning elements, there are some common mistakes that you'll want to avoid. got 3 of them for you. The first one is overloading content. So don't try to include every learning style in every lesson. Balance is key. As I say, you don't want to drag your learners through every single learning style in every lesson. You'll be there forever. So just ensure you know your niche, you know what the type of audience that you've got. And it might be that they're quite heavily weighted to read and write learners, or they're quite heavily weighted to kinesthetic learners. If you're doing a physical education or a personal training type course, then obviously that's going to lean quite heavily to kinesthetic learners. So don't try and balance the content evenly across the 4 learning styles for every single lesson. The second common mistake that you want to avoid is ignoring feedback. Pay attention to how students respond to your course, because if certain elements aren't resonating, then you need to adjust it accordingly. So if you're going in with the best of intentions and you're trying to cover all bases and you're trying to ensure that your lessons are talking to the auditory learners as well as the visual learners, it might actually be a bit of a turn-off depending on what your niche is and who your audience are. So keep an eye on that. Pay attention to how your students are responding. Look at your download rates or your student login rates or whatever the platform is that you use, the analytics that you can get, and ensure that you are still staying consistent with your niche message, with your transformation promise that you have sold your audience on. And finally, you don't want to be relying too heavily on one style. So just like I said, don't try and do all 4 styles in every single lesson. I would also make sure that you are not just focusing on one style for every lesson. So even if you prefer a specific style, even if you're a great talker and you love talking rather than having to sit down and do all the visual graphics for slides, remember that your audience is diverse and they all learn differently. And if there's a particular learning style that you are uncomfortable with or you find it hard to create content for, then think about things like a VA, a virtual assistant. And I use onlinejobs.ph, and they are great. $5 an hour, you can get somebody to help you create those visual slides or to create those auditory Hello Audio podcasts or whatever it is that you want, that you're struggling with or you don't have the time to do. So think about that. Make sure that you're not relying too heavily on one style. Now, here's the final step. You need to test your course to ensure it resonates with all learners. And how do we do this? How do we test our course? Well, we use student surveys to ask what's working and what's not. And we also monitor completion rates and engagement metrics. Now, in Teaching Mastery Academy, we go through all of this in detail and depth, and you get templates and frameworks and all that sort of thing. But for now, I would say that whatever your course platform is, I use Kajabi, for example, and there's a whole section called Analytics, which sits on the left-hand side of the menu. And so you can dive into that to see your completion rates and your engagement metrics, and you can really start to see what's working, what's not. Now, you want to ensure that you are adding or adjusting content based on that feedback, and you also want to continue to experiment. Experiment with new tools like interactive quizzes or live workshops. Always experiment. And once again, in Teaching Mastery Academy, we give you a whole range of engagement techniques that you can try out with your audience. You can test. We cover all 4 different learning styles, so you will never be stuck. You will never be bored with ideas for how to teach your content to these 4 learning styles. So designing a course that matches your audience's learning styles is one of the most impactful ways to ensure their success. And by creating a balanced mix of visuals, audio, text, and hands-on activities, you can engage every type of learner and deliver a transformative experience. And if you're ready to take your course design skills to the next level, then join the waitlist for Teaching Mastery Academy, because inside I will guide you step by step through the process of creating courses that connect, inspire, and transform. So just head to the classichighschoolteacher.com/TMA. That's T for teaching, M for mastery, A for academy. That's the classichighschoolteacher.com/TMA to get on the waitlist, and you will become a VIP. We've got a VIP waitlist running at the moment, so you want to get on there and get some extra bonuses. So thanks for tuning in, and remember, your course has the power to change lives. Let's make it happen together, all 4 groups of us. See you next time. Bye for now. Wow, what an episode. I hope you're walking away with some fresh ideas and strategies to help you create a premium course that's not just profitable, but truly impactful. Remember, your expertise is powerful, and the way you package and deliver it can be a total game changer for your students and your business. Before you go, I've got a few quick reminders for you, my friends. First, if you're ready to take everything we talked about today even further, make sure you join the waitlist for Teaching Mastery Academy. Inside TMA, I'll guide you step by step through creating, positioning and selling a premium course that stands out and delivers results. Head to theclassichighschoolteacher.com/TMA to grab your spot. It's completely free to join the waitlist and you'll be the first to know when doors open. Second, if you loved today's episode, do me a favour. Give it a thumbs up, leave a review and hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode. Your support means the world to me and helps us reach even more course creators just like you. And finally, if you know someone who's been dreaming of creating a premium course, share this episode with them. Let's spread the love and help even more entrepreneurs create courses that change lives. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you next time on Teaching Mastery Academy. Until then, keep creating, keep serving, and remember, you've got this.